In the early spring of 1922, in a quiet rural region of Germany, a farmhouse stood almost completely alone. This place was called Hinterkaifeck. It was not just isolated, it was cut off. Dense forest surrounded it on all sides. The nearest neighbors were far away. At night, the only sounds came from the wind and the animals. The Gruber family lived there, and long before anyone died, they believed something was wrong. Months before the murders, the head of the family noticed footprints in the snow. They came from the forest. They led directly to the house, but there were no footprints leaving. At first, he thought it was nothing, an animal, a trick of the light. But the footprints kept appearing. Then other strange things began to happen. Tools went missing from the farm. Keys disappeared without explanation. A locked door was found unlocked the next morning. At night, sounds could be heard above the bedrooms. Footsteps, dragging, movement in the attic. The family searched the house. They found nothing. They told neighbors. They told local authorities. No one believed them. In a small rural community, fear without proof is easy to dismiss. Then came March 31st, 1922. That night, everything stopped. The family was never seen alive again. Days passed, and yet something about the farm didn't feel abandoned. Smoke continued to rise from the chimney. The animals were fed. The farm looked maintained. But no one answered the door. Concern turned into fear. When neighbors finally entered the property, they made a discovery that still chills investigators today. 6 people were dead. The bodies were not found all at once. 5 were discovered in the barn. The evidence suggested they had been lured there, one at a time. There was no struggle, no signs of panic. Each victim had been killed with the same weapon, a mattock, a heavy farming tool. The wounds were precise, intentional. Inside the house, the youngest child was found in his crib, dead. The maid, who had arrived only hours before the murders, had no chance to escape. But the murders themselves were only part of the horror. What investigators found next was far more disturbing. Someone had stayed. Food had been eaten after the murders. Beds had been slept in. The fireplace had been used. The killer, or killers, did not flee. They lived in the house, for days, among the bodies. Investigators tried to understand who could do this. Suspects were questioned: a former farmhand with a grudge, neighbors with unclear alibis, men who knew the property well. Nothing stuck. There was no confession, no clear motive, no conclusive evidence. Over time, leads dried up. The case was officially closed, but it was never solved. More than a century later, Hinterkaifeck remains one of the most unsettling unsolved crimes in history. And one question still refuses to disappear. Who was already inside the house before anyone was killed?